recording right now.
Perfect. All right. So, hey, randoms! Welcome back to Unplanned Approach, and today we've got Corey Carter with us, a podcaster, fellow podcaster, and comedian, and I don't know, according to your bio, about 100 other things.
Yeah, pretty crap. Hey, more talented than we are.
Right, on this end, you got two a-holes that sell insurance.
So he's already one up this
right.
Moving forward. But so Corey, the first thing, I know we talked about this a little bit off air, but man, you've done a lot of different things in this realm, in this world, and we haven't. Like, I'll be honest with you, we were dicking around here for before we jumped on, and we have never hooked it up to a computer. We've never hooked up to a computer. No. We've never done anything. We've never done any of the YouTube or anything. So I was like, dude, we've got a YouTube page. Hell, if we've got it running through the road thing, let's dick around. And we're like, holy cow, we can go live. And it's like kids in a candy store. Like, oh my God, look what we can do. We can change the world.
We're fired up about shit 8-year-olds can do.
Yeah, but it's neat talking to people.
Hey, it's new to you guys, man. That's all it counts.
Right, no doubt.
So how did you get? I mean, is this something that like you always wanted to do? How did you even branch into this?
All right, so real long story short, I graduated film school full sail with a bachelor's degree in film in 2009, and at the time I had met who's now my ex-wife. We got married, and I was in the video industry, like very much. I worked in reality TV for like 4 years, independent films, wedding videos, sport videos, things like that. And
cool.
But the thing about my relationship was it was like super toxic, and she was super crazy, and I was not allowed to have my own social media. I didn't like there were years like literally.
I mean, look at you. I would keep you off social media.
Yeah. Hey, we don't have to. Our wives don't matter.
Yeah, do what you do.
No, but it's like I was completely out of touch with society from 2010 2020. Like I call it, that's when I was off planet, bro. Like I was just I was disconnected. I didn't know what was going on in pop culture, certainly not with social media. So I got away from her, and I had known some local independent artists, so I got into music videos. And of course, artists are like very, social media is a huge part of being an independent artist. And sure. I started making I made my first Instagram in like, God, it was 2023, the end of 2023. And I was posting music videos and like video editing tricks and things like that. And I got to the point where I realized that like artists don't have money to pay for music videos. It's just, if I'm going to make a real living, no artist wants to pay you $1,000 to shoot a music video because it doesn't get them anything. Right. It doesn't give them $1,000 worth of product.
They're just going to pay you in backstage passes and
right. for the shows that have 15 people out there. Like
groupies.
Man, I'm special.
Here's some cocaine.
Another reason to get out of the relationship.
But in that time, I was working with this guy making music videos for him. He had a podcast where he interviewed artists, and he wanted me to cover an episode. Now, in my time with like other film jobs, I had interviewed people. I interviewed people for different projects and everything, and I always really enjoyed the interview process. So this guy had me cover it, and man, it lit a fire in me. Like it relit a fire. I forgot how much I liked it. And I was like, this guy has a podcast, and I'm be honest, he was terrible with it. Like the entire time he was interviewing people, he's literally sitting there writing notes.
I watched one a couple days ago that was doing that. That guy was balls deep in his laptop. I'm like, what are you doing?
Just listen to the guy
you're talking to. Right.
Dude, we're recording this. We could go back and take your notes.
Right? Like he said, it was so he could remember to bring something back up. And I was like, just, bro, you're in a conversation. Just talk.
Right.
Right. You know what? I do have a question for you because we're 2 months, 3 months into this.
Mm-hmm.
And our concept is different than yours. Like I said before, yours is awesome. I think it's a great idea. But we've been looking for stuff like ours, like amateur, kind of to see what people are doing. And I'll be honest, man, there's a lot of junk.
Oh yeah.
There. I mean, there is some bad where I just can't even. I'm like, man, does anybody have the balls to tell these guys or this guy? It's awful. Stop.
It's funny because I saw someone post in that podcaster group that we're in that someone left a comment saying, man, they're letting anybody start a podcast these days. And like, first of all, I guarantee you everybody in that group has gotten that comment at some point. You know, we've gotten that comment several times.
Absolutely.
But it's just it's the same thing as music right now. For the first time in history, equipment to do podcasting and things like that is affordable, it's obtainable, and it's user friendly. And so that means there's going to be, just like there's an onslaught of awful independent music out there, just more music than you can find is terrible than you know. So it's gonna be the same thing with podcasting for a while, but you know, we all got to get out there, we all got to do our best and see what works.
Well, and I think the funny thing is we talked on the phone. We talked to you on the phone last week, and you know, you said the comedy thing, right? You want to get into the comedy thing, and I've one of my bucket list things is to do an open mic. Well,
he doesn't have any jokes though.
Yeah, my joke is my face.
Everyone look for 25 minutes.
You just leave with that, and you got the crowd. You're good.
My wife would be the only one there. Isn't he cute? No, she doesn't like me either. So, but it actually, for anybody looking to get into that, this is an easy way that I found that, you know, I've always had material and stuff, but I didn't want to get in front of people, which is funny because I don't mind, you know, being, you know, the spotlight guy, but getting on stage has always been kind of like, I don't know about that. But what I've noticed is running this stuff through, like when Kyle and I are talking, it gives you a platform and an opportunity to get comfortable talking and doing whatever your set or whatever jokes you think would work. I mean, everybody bombs their first time, right? So might as well bomb on a non-stage factor. But that's what I've thought the neatest thing about this is once you get comfortable, and like some of our guests, when they come on, you could tell the first 5 minutes, they're a little bit, you know, but once you get going and you get into it, it's 2 hours later and they're like, man, that was awesome.
Yep.
And trying to convince people to come on is the hardest part. It's like, guys, it's not, we're not going to expose you, you know, we're not going to cancel you. Have you run into some of that stuff too? I mean, you're more experienced than we are.
So once I had started the interview podcast, after that guy I had covered that one episode, I started an interview podcast. It was called Character Asked It. And I interviewed over 600 people in less than a year, or just over a year. And I'll tell you, the advantage that I had though was, first of all, I had started with the music video thing. So I had joined a ton of group chats for independent artists. And my benefit was, like, independent artists, they're trying to get their name out there. So it wasn't hard to get people to come on. After I had done, I don't know, 150, 200, I started charging. I started with 25, then 50 per episode, and 50 wasn't really hitting it, so I went back to 25. The funny thing that I found though is, like, with independent artists, the better conversation that it would be, like, the more I wanted them, the less they wanted to do it. I would have these 18-year-olds hit me up, I'll pay you $50 to do the interview, blah, blah. And I'd get on the interview with them. And like, my whole concept was, I'm going to ask you about, like, your childhood, your time in high school, what you did after high school. And we're going to start, I want to hear the whole story from beginning to end. I do that with an 18-year-old and I'm 7 minutes in and I'm like, well, we've covered your entire life. I don't know where else to go from here. Kid. You know, like, you paid me $50 and we're 8 minutes in and I got nothing left for you. Like,
right.
Pick up your axe, bro. You might as well start singing. We're done now.
Is your mom single?
Nothing exciting happened in your life in 18 years. Well, I can't talk about that stuff.
Right.
We're done here. That's fantastic.
So how'd you come up with the idea for the current podcast? Because
so
when you were telling us about it, we definitely were intrigued. We talked about it for a while after we talked to you. Just
sure.
It was a cool concept of making sure everybody gets a voice, and yeah.
I appreciate that. And basically what it came down to was, you know, after my 600 something interview, I looked at the progress I had made and I wasn't happy with it. You know, like I have like 15,000 followers on Instagram, which is, that's like the proudest thing that I accomplished from it, but it wasn't growing. Like I got to 15 and I stayed at 15 for like 6 months and I couldn't break through. And I realized it's because, like, no one knows me. You know, I'm nobody. I'm not famous to anybody. So when I come up on their feed and they see this random person interviewing a random artist and they don't know either one of us, they have no reason to care about us. So when I started thinking about like where to go from there, I wanted to cover trending topics, but that's a real broad scale and like how to lay out the formula. What I remembered that like I've never really been into sports, but my brother, he's a sports reporter. He's very much into sports, and he used to watch Pardon the Interruption on ESPN all the time. And that's their concept. They have a list of topics that they're going to talk about each episode on the side. Each topic has a timer, and each host gets a period of time to talk about that topic. So why not just take that concept and put it on trending topics? It's not the exact, I didn't copy their exact formula, but that's where it came from. Now I had my guy Blaze, who I've been working with. He has his own network, TV network that our stuff is on and everything. So I knew he was going to be a part of it. And then I put out a call to find the other two hosts. Didn't really get much response, but then I went back through the 600 people that I interviewed and was like, who will work for this?
Okay.
And I hit them up, and here we are.
That's exactly what I thought when I watched it, was that ESPN stuff. And the one right after it, it's Pardon the Interruption, and then the one right after it with I'm drawing a blank, where they have the 4 columnists on it, and everybody does that. They got the buzzer and all that. I mean, it's outstanding because you've done something that, there's a lot of people out there that want to do sports and want to do, current topics. And like we were just talking, he asked me about Shedeur Sanders, right? All that controversy at the NFL draft. Yeah, I've got an opinion. Everybody's got, it's the hot topic. And then what will be tomorrow? What will be the next day? And we thought about that too. And we do sometimes, we talk a little bit about that stuff, but your format to do that is a success. I loved it. Usually it's kind of like, like you said, who are these 4 guys talking about this? Well, if everybody has a different, approach, I just thought it was great. And I thought it was fantastic. I thought, man, this guy and you, man, it's really planned well, where, like we said before we jumped on.
Yeah, ours isn't so much.
I looked at Kyle and I said, man, he's pretty organized with all this. We absolutely look like a couple of bozos walking.
Well, it absolutely shows that you've done 700 interviews. We've done 8.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Like, and I would have never been able to come up with the concept of the show before the other podcast, And I will say the organization part, man, it's not easy. It's we do 6 topics every week, and that means that I have to find 6 polarizing topics, and it can't be like a trending topic that everyone agrees on. We're not going to talk about Diddy because Diddy was wrong. No one's going to be like, oh no, Diddy, no, Diddy's got a
he's not in my book.
Not according to Shedeur Sanders and those guys that want to be rappers, right?
It's
trying
to keep him down.
It's like our shows every Friday. So my entire Thursday is pretty much doom scrolling on every platform that I have. I'll have some saved videos that are potential. My lady will send me videos, but it's really like that is the most difficult part of the show, is finding the topics and actually choosing because I got to just predict what's going to be a good conversation with the 4 of us.
Sure,
you never really know. I've had topics where I thought that this is gonna be a terrible topic, and ends up being a great conversation that goes viral. I've had topics where like this is it, this is the one, and a minute and a half into the topic, it's like, well,
that's it. Yeah, we're all out. Yeah, I've been there. We've done that too. Where the good thing about what Kyle and I do is we could, like you sent us, and that's actually a great transition into one of the stories you sent us about your ex and stuff. And if you're okay talking about it, it sounds like a pretty funny deal. Is there some humor there? You're okay talking about it?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But that's kind of what we do. We get people we tell people, hey, have 3 or 4 stories. And usually, I'll be honest, once people open up and they start telling us, there's funny in everything, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And so that's what we do. So somebody gives us 3 stories, and we get in one, and we look up and it's 2 hours in. It's like, oh my God, we went from here to here to here to. It's almost like schizophrenia, man. You're all over the place trying to figure it out. But your podcast is one that I will, like when I'm in the car, I'll listen to that, and that's what I'm looking for, is stuff that, because I travel a lot. I'm like, man, I'm looking for stuff like that. And like I said before, I was looking for something like we do, and man, there's just not. Anybody says, come down. You always do that, dude. You're a douchebag, man. You're such a douchebag. But anyway, getting back. So where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Maryland.
You're from Maryland, and you ended up in Florida for college. Which University of Florida?
Full Sail.
Which
Full Sail
Florida
University.
Okay. So you met your ex-wife.
Oh, okay. Full Sail University. I thought you were just saying Full Sail, and it was some kind of
It's
a thing. Like,
so what's
like
that?
a thing, and I thought, well, okay, I don't know what that is.
Full Sail, guys. Let's have a good talk.
Right.
They're the Full Sail realtors.
Right.
That's funny. I didn't even. I wasn't gonna make fun of where the guy got his.
Well, I
degree
wasn't going to make fun. I don't know the school.
He said, "I'm a dick."
You're a
You're
dick.
whatever. Anyway, so you meet your ex-wife the first day you moved in.
Yeah. Like literally, she lived in the apartment below. I move in. I get there. She and like, you know, I was me at the time, so I go meet the neighbors, and I see there's girls. There's 3 girls living below me in the apartment below me. And you know, like we started getting to talk, and I find out they smoked. And at the time, I didn't know a lot of girls that smoked. And I was like, "Oh my God, you smoke weed? Let's go hang out," you know. And we, you know, one thing basically, she had a 1-year-old at the time. One thing led to another. We were good friends for a while, and she would come up and drink coffee every morning and everything. And then we ended up together, and you know, it was like, there were definitely red flags that I ignored in the first 2 years. But you know, I was young. I was 19 years old. You know, I didn't know any better.
Right.
And you know, she had fibromyalgia, and then it started getting worse, and then she needed these painkillers, and then those weren't working, so she needed other painkillers, and blah 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 blah. It got real bad. The pills, you know, doctor shopping, buying off the street, all that, like just constant. Every single day we wake up, and it's how we get her more pills today. It's just
Wow.
And that was pretty much for a solid 10 years of my life. Like that was
my
life.
man.
Now in that time, she had some psychological disorders come to light that she would not admit to. Like she wouldn't go to a doctor and get treatment and tell him actually what's going on. She would just lie. She's literally hearing voices. She's telling me she's hearing voices. I'm going to the doctor with her, and the doctor asks, "Are you hearing voices?" And she says, "Nope," and grabs my leg. Like, shut the fuck up.
Oh my.
It got, and then so it manifested for her in thinking that I was cheating. And when I say cheating, I mean cheating all the time. I would come home, I would be at work 12 hours working at a restaurant, right? The double shift outside, Florida heat. I come home, bro, and she would have 1,000 documents printed out, spread across our entire living room floor, our kitchen floor, into the bedroom, showing this is the hotel you went to with this girl. This is that. This is like, this was like the introduction of when it got bad. This was about 5 years into it really getting bad, about 10 years into the relationship. And then her mom comes up and says, "I'll pay for you guys to get married if you want to get married." I can't say no. So we get married.
I can't say no.
Goes, I mean, because she's paying for it. Like I proposed to the girl. We were engaged for 7 years before we got married.
I didn't want to do it. I am so with you. You're talking about the papers. Mine was I would come in and it'd be like, "Hi, honey, I'm cooking for you." And I'd be like, "Hey, that's great. You sound like you just got done cheating." And then throw the food at me, hit me with the frying pan. So I've been where you've been.
You sound like you've been cheating. I want to know how to sound like that.
Yeah, that tone of voice sounds like you were banging someone else. I've been at work.
Man, it got to the point like we go visit family in Maryland, and you know, we'd be on a drive, stop at a McDonald's in North Carolina, park next to a pregnant woman. The rest of that drive, the rest of that trip, that was my baby. I met her so that I could see my baby mama. She's pregnant. It was one of those times I snuck up to North Carolina real quick, got a little thing in, and came back. You know, it's just like you can't make this shit up, bro. Like she would be
right into the McDonald's, and I bet you took a ride with that bitch. Yep. What are you talking about?
Yep. I mean, it was like we'd be sitting on the couch and watching TV, and she would grab the remote and pause and say, "Shh." Yeah, okay. And I'm like, what just happened? She would be like, I heard your bitch. Your bitch is outside. She's outside right now. I heard her talking shit.
Oh
She's just trying to
God.
piss me off. I'm like, are you
Right.
fucking kidding me right now?
She's giving you
Right.
a lot of credit, man. You're a good looking dude, but damn, man, you got chicks banging down your door
Right.
during Netflix and chill.
Right.
She was suspicious of every black SUV that we would pass on the road. Like I swear to God, she thought I had the government helping me cheat. Like I was a
Oh my
secret
God.
government agent. She gave me way more credit than I ever deserved. I am not capable of going
I'm
to
not
lengths.
smart enough to
That,
get the government. Right?
it was.
Oh my God, man! I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I
Well,
didn't
so-
I didn't know
so-
it was that in depth, and I didn't know you.
Oh,
I didn't know I was sitting
dude, I
next
got-
to
I
a
got
victim
stories, yeah.
here, man.
Yeah.
So now the question that you have to ask now is, and this is something I've asked myself: was she crazy, like previously, or did you help drive her there?
Well, all my cheating, like it'll drive anybody crazy.
Right, that's what I'm. Well, because ours would get out of hand, and it so came out of the blue, but then it tanked everything, which I'm sure you're aware. It just tanks everything.
Every important
everything
event.
you do is like,
Yep.
right.
Every holiday.
You're trying to bang her. That's my mom's best friend.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
my mom.
That's my mom.
Right.
First,
Hey, my mom's a handsome woman, damn it.
why are you hugging that bitch? Because she gave birth? I don't know. God, I've never had anybody.
Really?
You guys are lucky. You got to experience something.
Well, I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at that. You know what I mean?
This attracts crazy, okay?
That's right.
So so Kyle, ask him the question you ask everybody: do you attract crazy or do you drive them crazy?
Right, yeah.
Are you
'Cause
attracted
we had
to?
a buddy
Do you
on
attract?
that had that. Do you attract them? Do you chase them, or do you create them?
Well, I'll tell you, I have a new girlfriend. We've been together for about 4 years, and I will have to let you know. I've been there long enough to know if I'm a driver crazy or not. So she's not crazy, so I didn't attract crazy this time,
Right,
and
so you
it
didn't
remains to
attract
be
it.
seen if I drive her crazy. So
That's
Right.
fantastic. Well, congratulations on
Yeah, good.
moving on to somebody that doesn't follow you around with,
Yeah.
with a noose.
this one's awesome.
Why are you carrying that?
Kitchen knife,
just,
right.
just in
Hit the
case.
computer with a baseball bat because
Why do you have
I
a?
was talking to women on it.
Yeah. Why do you have
Yeah.
that in the
Right.
bathroom? I don't know. You just never know when you're going to need a
That's
kitchen
right.
knife. Okay, I'm leaving. That's
Yeah,
where
the
it stops.
guy that we were talking about actually was sitting at his kitchen table with a machete.
Yeah, if you get
He
a
was
chance,
afraid he was going to die.
if you get a chance, your story is reminiscent of a guy that I grew up with that we had on. It's the Stink episodes. It's his nickname, and it goes from
Yeah.
here to holy shit, man. What? And he kept repeating the cycle that you were in with different women, and I'm like, okay, at what point? How many times do you have to get arrested for something stupid by your girlfriend or one of the three? I mean, he was moving all around the country following women. He'd meet one.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, she's moving to Alabama. I'm going to move to Alabama. And then 3 months later, she's crazy. And I'm like, you've done this 3 times, bro. This is
this is your fault, bro. I no longer feel bad for you. You did this to yourself.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, if you listen to it, the funniest part is he's supposed to come over here and do the podcast, and we call him, and he's in a low tone, like he's hiding, and we're like, hey, we know what's going on. Are you ready to go? And he says, well, the cops are outside. And I'm like, sweet, we're coming. This will be a great episode. And he's like, I wouldn't come over here. And so he calls us back like a half an hour later, and he's like, yeah, let's reschedule it. I'm just sitting here on my couch with a machete next to me in case she comes back. And I thought, okay, that's crazy. So we do the episode, and at the end of the episode, we're like, so what's the status? He goes, well, we're still together. And I thought, oh my God, dude. What are you writing, a novel? What an idiot.
Yeah, he was so a little more detailed because he was sitting with the machete, and her car was parked out front of the house, but no one knows where she was. So
That
she's
happens
in
with
the
those.
bushes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
She's
That's
hiding in
a
the
thing.
bushes or something, right?
That's a real thing. Like,
Just cussing him really quietly.
dude, she would disappear so much, and just crazy shit would happen so much that the town that we're in now, if I call the non-emergency police line, they literally pick up, say, "Hey, Corey."
Oh, no.
Yeah, like it was that common. Like that's just the way
Hey,
we
buddy.
were, you know.
How's it doing? How's it going?
Corey,
what's going on now? What you do?
Hey, if you're out and about, could you come by the house? I think she might be out in the bushes with a knife.
Right, yeah. Just keep an eye out, crazy woman running around, some kind of weapon in her hand, just,
Right.
Oh my God. So so looking back, what were the red flags that you look back at? Because we've all been in relationships that I have not been in anything quite that dramatic, but I mean, you do look back and you're like, how did I not notice that? I mean, there's like 4 things that you're like, that should have told me on day one. Bad idea.
The first red flag that I missed was, I had just moved to college. It's the first time living away from my parents' house. You know what kind of life you want to live when you first live alone. And
right.
I'm making friends, and I have like a group of like 5 close friends that I'm going to school with. And every chance she got, she tried to find something wrong with these friends, down to like one of them, my buddy Brian, she steadily tried to convince me that he was trying to sleep with me. And Brian was very straight. Like he was not gay, but she was like, he wants to spend so much time with you. He wants you. He wants you. I'm like, dude, bro.
In fairness, I mean, if Alabama weren't so far away, I might have to hop in the car.
Oh God, dude, we don't share the same view. This guy. But you've never hit on me? I'm right here.
The show's not over.
That is crazy. She tried to convince you one of your buddies had a secret man crush on you?
Yes, straight up. So like that was definitely a red flag. Like that's what they say, toxic people, they don't want other influences around you. And right. Yeah, so and then like, I grew up in a household where of course my parents fought, but like they would go in the bedroom and you would hear some discussion, but it wouldn't be like screaming at the top of your lungs. About, I don't know, 4 or 5 months into it, I don't even remember what it was about. I came home, she was mad about something, and just fucking blah, 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 blah. And like I just turned around and went outside because I was like, I don't know this behavior. I'm not familiar. I don't know how to respond in these situations. And I came back and a little bit later and we talked, and it was like, again, this was the first time that she really screamed. But in hindsight, like what I tell people now is if you're just dating and you're already having to overcome huge issues, just get the hell out. If it's not easy for at least the first 6 months, 1 year, and you're constantly struggling, it's not worth fighting to save the relationship. No, find a relationship that's worth fighting for.
Well, especially if you're 19 and you're like, I don't want to get married till I'm whatever, unless you get swept completely off your feet. You're right. I mean, it's
got really good looking friends.
Well, she's got really good looking friends, and you hang around and you start picking off her friends one at a time.
And then you're like, oh man, I'm really depressed because this isn't going well. And they're like, oh, how can I help you? Maybe a back rub.
A back rub with no clothes on. There's the
got to work the long game.
Right.
Got to have vision.
No, now, what would her reaction been? We start with crazy, but if all of a sudden you guys break up or whatever and you start dating one of her friends, dude, you're a dead man.
Oh.
Dead. We're looking at a dead man.
Right.
Look at it.
He knows.
No.
Yeah, I knew too. Yeah.
Oh my God. So how, and I'll ask if you don't want to talk, so she had a 1-year-old, you adopt the child. Now that just made it super probably convoluted then as well, right? I mean, how?
Well, okay. I never actually officially adopted my daughter. I'll get to where we're at now, but she could never let me adopt her legally because she knew that means I could leave with her.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yep.
So I mean, just a couple years, less than a couple years in, I knew that like I was locked in for my daughter. I was. If I were to leave, I know exactly where she would have ended up going, either homeless shelter or back to her ex who lived in a grow house trailer with holes in the floor. And I could never let my daughter, go live that life. Like I would never be able to sleep a night in my life if I left Lil back then. She was about to turn 14. Lily was about to turn 14, and my ex got a hold of Adderall again, and Adderall was always the thing that sent her into psychosis. Like it was a very common thing for her to go into a deep, full psychosis. She got 72-hour holds in Florida like 15 times. It happened here.
Wow.
But she got this Adderall this time, and I told her, I was like, look, every single time that you take this drug, you go into psychosis, and then I have to put you in a no, it won't happen. Okay. So she takes it. Next day, I see that look, that 1,000-mile stare looking past you look, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And she's like yelling at the walls. Like, my daughter's coming out in the living room, and she's staring at the wall, face to face with the wall, screaming at it because she's yelling at the bitches that I have outside. I told her, like, I looked her in the eye. Yes, she was in psychosis, but I was like, look, if you don't go seek help yourself, I'm going to get you put away in a psych ward, and you're not coming home. And this was like 4 days before my daughter's birthday. I looked my daughter in the eye and I told her, I promise this is over. We're getting away from her. The day before my daughter's birthday that year, I had a court date lined up that I actually had to take her. I had to take my ex in psychosis to a lawyer's office to file for an emergency, hearing for her to be put in a psych ward. I come in with her and he was like, wait, is this about her? I was like, yeah. He was like, she can't be here while we do this paperwork. I was like, so I told her, I was like, I need you to go wait outside. She was like, no. I was like, all right, let's leave. We're walking. She walks out the door. I close it. I lock the door. I go into the lawyer's office. I do the paperwork, and I come back out about 10 minutes later and put her in the car and go home. So a few days later, the day before my daughter's birthday, I got her put into a psych ward for 60 days. And in that hearing, she spent her entire argument saying that my mom is the reason why she's being put there today. My mom, who lives in Maryland, and we are currently in Alabama, my mom is the reason for that. Then the judge is literally looking at me like,
that makes sense.
What is she talking? I'm like, this is why I'm here.
This is what I deal with every day, Your Honor. Every day.
Yeah. I also, she told me while she was in psychosis that she had slept with a family friend of ours. So I called that guy. I called him when she was in the hospital. I was like, hey man, did you fuck my wife? He goes, we're in Alabama. He goes, yep, I did that. I was like, well, she's your problem now, bro.
Go get him.
I don't know how to thank you.
Yeah,
it's all you. Yeah, no, I'm grateful. I'm not even mad at you because I mean, when she got out the hospital, she went to stay with him. Cool.
Yeah. So you have Venmo? I'd like to Venmo you. Venmo or
You're gonna need this.
And here's the bills.
Now, so we talked a little bit the other day. I really expected when you said who was out to get her, I thought you were going to say Ganon.
Say what?
From Zelda. No. Oh, wait. No.
He's trying to make a Zelda reference.
No, I was trying to make a Zelda, but
I thought you were a nerd like this.
I am a nerd. No, I'm right about that. We talked to.
I don't know anything about Zelda or Dungeons and Dragons.
Here's an awkward pause because Corbin got his things a little jacked up there.
Okay, so what were you trying to say? What were you trying to say?
I thought he would get the reference. He's not a Zelda player.
No, I don't get it.
See, right.
Oh, you cross strings. You thought of somebody else.
Right.
See, Kyle cheats a lot too. This is what I deal with.
I'm a cheater.
Kyle's
a cheater.
Kyle's in psychosis because he doesn't have enough Diet Mountain Dew in his system.
My name's Kyle.
That's what
I'm a cheater.
That's what my 14 and 12-year-old would have called a brick. Well, man, kudos to you for sticking around and taking care of. I mean, that is, I've got a buddy whose brother-in-law married a girl, adopted her young daughter. I'm talking like 3, 4, 5, and ran into the same issues you had. And now he's, I hate to say it, now he's stuck. It's like he don't want to give up on the kid, but the mom has lost her mind. You got to look at the calendar and be like, man, but he actually adopted her. So he had to deal with, he had to make sure. And every time I talk to my buddy, I mean, this has been years and years ago. So the kid's 18 and, he's remarried and it all worked itself out. But kudos to the guys that stick around especially when you don't technically have to. I mean, damn, man, God love you, and I'm glad you got a good. Congratulations, that is. Woof.
I appreciate
there's some
that.
funny there that we can tinker at the funny, but overall there is
at the end of it, right?
There's a badge of courage for it too, man. I mean, I hope your new lady understands what she's got with you. If she doesn't, get her on. I'll tell her.
Try to Indiana. Well,
Corey's a good guy. If you ever meet anybody at the court hearing, some character witness, Corey, we are there, man.
We're there.
Appreciate it.
And now that we figured out the video part of this, we can do it via video.
There you go. There you go. Hold on. I have another crazy story of something that happened post leaving her, right? First of all,
she showed up in your house and she was vacuuming the front yard.
I just can't get this dirt out.
That's not far from what in the realm of possibility, man. I would not.
No. Like I said, I'm speaking from experience.
So,
well, she didn't.
When I got away from her was 4 years before I thought I ever stood a chance, because my daughter was 14 or 15, and I thought she was gonna have to be 18 or 19 when she was an adult for me to actually be able to do anything. So I spent like that time in that gray area where I don't actually have legal rights to her. I wasn't supposed to be taking her to school, wasn't supposed to be taking her to the doctor, but if I didn't try to change anything, and we could just float like that, and we did for 4 years. But in those 4 years, my ex, before we got divorced, she got pregnant.
In what years?
Gave birth to a child in a meth house in a bathtub. The kid was born with Down syndrome and no anus. And I got a call the next week saying that I had a brand new kid because I'm still married to her. So I was the legal father of this child.
Oh my God.
What's the worst part is, like, I found out that she was pregnant and I knew what she was doing. I called DHR and was like, look, there's a woman who's pregnant who I know is abusing drugs right now. I could tell you where she is, what she's doing. Their response is, we can't do anything until the kid is born.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I had to fight. I had to go to court 4 or 5 times to get my name removed as the legal father. The biological dad was put back in prison for violating probation from a sexual assault to his little sister when he was a kid.
Oh my God. Jeez, Friday.
Can't make this shit up, bro. Can't make it up.
No shit. I mean, this is like plots out of a movie. You have got to listen to the episodes, man, if you get some free time. Don't do it on a Thursday because I know you're busy, but you come out almost smelling like a rose compared to the guy we were talking to. I mean, at least you didn't keep pursuing crazy,
it was just one. It was one mistake,
Just one,
You just hit
You tend to learn your lesson when you get. No, I'm with you, man. I feel like I did too. Like, okay, that's enough of that.
Oh my God!
Right. If you ever feel that level of disrespect, man, you're out. Like, that's never gonna happen again.
Oh my God! So how old is your daughter? Your daughter now? How old is she now?
She's 19.
Awesome, man. Great.
Yeah.
How's she doing? Good? Doing well? Things going well?
She's doing great. She works at Chick-fil-A, and she's gonna be going to school for esthetician, to be an esthetician.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Beauty.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's probably what my oldest will end up doing. No, dude, you know what? Kudos. That's probably a lot of you, man. You are, and I hate to sound like I'm hitting on you. I don't want your ex to think that I'm hitting on you or anything, but I do love heroes, man. I love a hero story, and I love
so many, like a buddy road trip.
Right. It sounds like we're gonna have you come up and speak at a commencement up here. Hey, we've got to.
Hey, does it smell like chloroform?
He's actually used that in the bar. What are you wearing? It's called chloroform.
Speaking of chloroform, my ex was in high school with Casey Anthony.
What?
No.
Man,
they're comparing notes and stuff. What are you gonna do? Well, I don't like kids.
I want to be famous. Oh my God.
I need to come up with a way to really get my name out there.
Yep.
I've got some ideas.
Oh my God. I don't get speechless very often. That is, you know what what my buddy said on the podcast we did is he said, you know what, I really wish there's only one word that would have helped me if I'd have just done background check. He's like, if I just put it on a background check. And he goes, and I won't not do it now. Everybody I date. Oh my God. Hold on. Take it from me.
So to change subject, let's change the subject a little bit. Behind you, is that your art?
My daughter made that, actually.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Jason's trying to tell me he did this, but I think he lied.
Yeah, I drew Lucas Oil Stadium and all that good stuff behind us.
It's funny.
You got another one.
She did this one too, and like I'm very much into like Egyptian mythology and things like that.
Right.
But I talked to a publicist. He called me, like, this random publicist one day on Instagram, saw my stuff, and he was like, "Bro, I love your stuff. I have a few suggestions. Can we get on a call?" I was like, "Yeah." So I talked to him. Great guy, really appreciate it. But he told me, he was like, "Look, man, really big people are not going to go on your show with the Illuminati symbol sitting right behind you. You gotta get
only
rid of that."
It's not right.
Right, exactly. It's not. But most people, when they see that, they think it's Illuminati. So I got rid of it for that. It's it's not worth it.
That's crazy. I would never have put 2 and 2 together. So I did notice that
it's close. Illuminati. It's close.
Is it?
Yeah.
So the 999 means something, right? It means
okay. So the 999 is a Juice WRLD thing. He started that, and I mean, the concept was, it's like 666 flipped upside down. So it's to remember to take all the negatives in your life and turn them to a positive or whatever. And then
I've got a great story about it. So
that symbol, it means change in the Greek alphabet. And, I don't know, I think change would be good for us right now.
So
yeah, we have a few things in common because you're speaking to the nerd in me. So yeah.
Kyle's a nerd.
Yeah.
I'm the cool one of the duo.
I love that stuff.
I don't know enough about it, but I do know that my neighbor's kid, he's 22. He got the 999 tattooed on his leg, right? But when you look at it, it's 666.
Oh, they just spun it.
Yeah. And I'm like, hey, and we'll call his mom Lisa. It's like, hey, Lisa, why does he have 666 on his leg? And she just goes, that's 999.
You got to underline it, bro. You got to show where the bottom is.
You got to do something. Right.
I'm like, does he know when he's at the beach that everybody thinks he's got? I'm like, what a bozo! And you got it tattooed on you? What a bozo! That's like, why don't you go get dipshit tattooed on your face, man? I couldn't believe it. I thought, why has he got? And even his stepdad was like, man, I can't even. I don't even know what to say anymore. This is the same kid that took his dad's car, used his credit card, and then was like, I don't know what happened. It's like, kid, you're the only one that was home, man.
Right.
So
I don't know why your liquor bottle keeps freezing in the freezer. What's going on?
Junior college didn't accept this kid. So so Alabama. So when you're thinking about the stage and jumping up there, have you done anything yet? Have you done an open mic or any of that stuff?
No. Like this is a fairly new like goal. I've always wanted to do it, but I literally like it's never crossed my mind before now to actually go and do it. And I'll be honest, one of the things that's holding me back from starting it here is I was doing some work with a local comedian for a while, and we had a falling out, and I know that he's at every damn local comedy club that does open mics. So I really don't want to run into that guy. Right. Yeah, like I'd say the biggest thing that's holding me back is how difficult it is to write a set. Like you can come up with jokes, but to actually write a set and then to have it memorized enough to where you don't have to reference a piece of paper. You don't have to, that seems like a lot to me right now. And to be able to, like, I used to write, I made music for like a year and a half, and I could sit down and write a song in an hour, a 3-verse song in an hour, but that's just rhyming and that's just proving a point. Like to actually write something that's worded and timed comedically, that seems so difficult to me. I could tell stories all day long, but I can't write them and know exactly when to deliver them,
Well, and that's what I found about, because I love comedy. I thought, like we talked about, I thought about the same thing. And I bought tape recorders. I've done all kinds of stuff to have in my car for when I want to, this would be funny. But you're right. I don't know how people sit in a room, honestly, unless it's a collaboration where all you're doing is you're taping everything and you're throwing out ideas and different scenarios, and then you take them and you cut them. But to sit down, like to hear a comedian say, "Oh, I sat down and I wrote all this out," I'm like, then what? I mean, you wrote it all out. You thought it was funny. I think a lot of my shit's funny. 99% of people don't. Right there, Kyle. Right there. It's funny you say that. My brother thinks Kyle. My brother's listening to the podcast. He's like, "Well, Kyle's funny," and I'm like, "Wait a minute.
His brother's very, very smart.
He's not very smart.
With a lot of respect for his brother.
Yeah,
he really knows what he's talking about.
Perceptive. Right.
He wants to come on, and I said, "You got to figure out who's funny before you can come on." Right now, you're nobody.
I have a buddy who he did stand up for a while. He wrote for SNL for a while. And like I told him a while ago that I was thinking about starting to do it, and he was like, "My biggest piece of advice for you is every story you have ever heard anyone tell has now happened to you."
Yep.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. Being on stage as a comedian, like you just tell the story as if it's your own. It's not stealing. You're delivering in a certain way. And
I've wondered that too, because I listened to like Bill Burr and some of these guys. Like I love Bill Burr, and every time I watch him, I'm like, that's me. He beat me to the punch. I do the same thing. I watch people and I make fun of them. I mean, I can sit in an airport. He's got a bit in an airport with a big fat guy rubbing up again, and I thought I've seen it 100 times, and I thought exactly what he's saying. Like, look at this big overgrown gorilla. What's he doing, man? And then he's going to sit next to you on the airplane. Like, I got to sit next to this guy. I just saw him smash a Big Mac in his face, So you're right. Everything, and I've tried to do that. Like, I'm not seriously entertaining the comedy thing, but I have actually. That advice sounds fantastic, because I've always wondered that too. I'm like, is that stealing? If you hear, Carlos Mencius, am I taking everybody's shit and calling it my own?
Right.
So, no, that's interesting. I'd love for you to keep us posted on that. And man, if there's anything we can do to help, if we ever, if
nothing else, we're a small audience.
Right.
You can throw it at us.
If I write a bit, man, I'll come on and deliver it. See how it goes.
That'd be fun. That'd be really fun.
I'll get a group of people together. We'll tell you if you suck or not, right? Hey, honesty's the best policy, right?
As long as your brother's there. I don't care about anybody's opinion.
He knows what's funny.
I'll give you the backstory on that, Corey. Do you know why my brother can't stand? He's my older brother. I'm the middle child, and I have that syndrome. So his wife thinks I'm the funniest person. If I ever do a show, she's sitting mid front row, right in the middle, because she laughs at everything, and it drives him crazy. So you didn't parlay that into my nephew. It's his only son who acts exactly like I do, and
That's awesome.
He's like, it's not funny. It's not funny, and everybody else is going, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. So that's where that's where he's like, man, Kyle is really funny. And I'm like, you just can't admit it.
Right.
You can't admit it. I said, well, I write it.
A jab.
So if I tell him I write the jokes, what's he going to say? Well, then Kyle sucks too. You both suck. So it is what it is. But no, it's a great story, man. I love your stuff. If you ever want guests on your show, man, that would be awesome. I'd love to get into a format, just to, if anything else, even if it's a dummy format, so that we can see it, just participate in it. And I think that'd be great. That's how much I think the concept is awesome. It's really
I appreciate that. We a lot of times a host can't make it, so we're always looking for guest hosts. And
Oh yeah, that's an easy phone call then.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because one or the other of us, or if not both, it'd be pretty easy.
Cool.
Because this was simple.
Sure.
Yeah. Now that we know how to turn on a computer, you know what this guy used to make fun? I always bring a computer down because every podcast person has a computer right in front of them.
Right. Just
and I never use it.
It is a prop. He didn't even turn it on. They just have it open and just look at it while we're sitting there talking to one another.
I'm clicking my mouse going, Kyle, we should do. And he's like, is that even on? I'm like, no. I wrote some paper.
I'm imagining that there are things on the screen.
This could work, Kyle. This could work. I'm telling you, this could work. So in Alabama, are you close to a big city that has some comedy options, or would you have to travel farther away to do it?
There are some local comedy clubs and everything like that. That's probably the smarter place to start because the smaller crowds. But Birmingham's an hour and a half away. Atlanta is 2 hours away.
Okay.
Right.
that's probably where I would start. But then again, also another thing is like, I'm in Alabama. I'm from Maryland. I am not Southern. I don't like big pickup trucks. I don't hunt.
That's funny,
I
man. That's
don't-
funny.
But I mean, these
Go
people
ahead,
don't like
sorry,
me. They don't. They don't know how to,
assimilate
comprehend
to
me.
your comment. Right.
It's funny.
A dang northerner came down here and tried to take our women.
Exactly.
Jobs.
Exactly.
You can't
Deport them back to the north.
I'll tell you a great comedy story. My brother and his wife have a lesbian friend that's a comedian, and so they went to see her one night at a comedy club, and the person that opened did not know that the headliner was a lesbian, and absolutely didn't know that 2/3 of the crowds were friends of hers.
No.
So he's up there, doing jokes, and they're jokes, so it's not, but nobody's laughing at anything. He's just crickets. And he goes, man, did I miss something? And somebody yells, yeah, the headliner's a lesbian. So all the gay jokes went flat. And he's
Wrong
like,
crowd, man.
well,
Read the room.
That would have been some information to know before I started my segment.
Some information I needed about 2 hours ago.
So my brother was the only one laughing during the whole show because he's watching this guy get destroyed on stage. And he's like,
see, your brother knows comedy.
He does.
Right, he does know comedy.
I mean, if the guy would have accepted it, he probably could have turned it into hilarity.
Right.
Like, okay, now I'm the joke, right?
Right.
He's like, why is this guy in front the only one laughing and everybody else is scowling at
Your brother's like, gold, it's gold.
It's all gold. Keep going, bro. Keep going.
Lean in.
So then evidently the headliner came on and said, guys, you gotta be nicer. He didn't know. He's in the back waving. He's not selling any of his merch tonight, So it was good stuff. But there's stuff like that all over the place with comedy stuff. I mean, comedy today and comedy back in the day. I mean, it's cool. I would love to do it. And it takes balls to get up there and do it. So good luck with that too, man. That'd be awesome.
Have you guys seen
that's
Andrew
really-
Schultz's stand-up on Netflix called Life? It's his newest.
No.
I highly recommend this stand-up. I'm not exaggerating. The first 30 minutes or so, I was laughing so hard. My lady and I were laughing. We had to like pause it several times because we couldn't stop laughing to listen to more. But then about halfway into the set, he breaks into a story that put me into full-on sobbing tears. I don't cry watching movies. I went from laughing that hard to actually sobbing in a period of 5 minutes.
Really?
It's the most impressive use of a stand-up routine I've ever seen in my life. It's heartwarming. It's hilarious. It's sad. It's invigorating. I couldn't say much more about this special. You got to watch it.
I've heard it's good, but I haven't heard anybody jump on it like that. I've heard it was really good though.
That sounds outstanding. I definitely will I'm always looking for stuff that's new, especially that's funny if I wouldn't have known halfway through, because I'm an emotional guy. I get emotional about shit too. And my kids are even, every time we watch a show, they look at me and they're like, are you crying? Like, I'm not crying. Stop. I'm not crying.
That's my dad, bro. I've looked over during a commercial and my dad is crying. Like some family just bought a house in a commercial.
Right. Hey, look.
The best part of Lakey was, oh my God, she came home for Christmas.
You should have seen how tore up he was about the fade in his sweatshirt. Oh my God, you can barely read it.
What is that? What is that?
That's just the high school I went to.
Okay.
We're in
He
the
lives in the past.
How
How far back do you have to reach for glory? About 30 years.
I was a big deal back in the day.
That's right. He was kind of a big deal.
I tell my wife every day. She doesn't buy it either.
You really got with a winner,
Yeah, babe. Do you understand? Well, our anniversary was last week, and I sent it on Facebook. I posted 16 years ago, one of us hit the lottery, and I put, man, I'm glad you like BW3s, or you'd have missed your shot. And she comes home and just goes, you put that out there. And I'm like, hey, just call it the way I see it, babe.
Right.
Keep her right here. That might be a red flag, though. Listening to that may be a red flag. He's like, man, this guy's really into himself. I'm bailing. I'm like, after 15 years, you have nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. But I mean, yeah, that's awesome, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you got? You got anything else? You got some good shit. I like it. If you got anything else pops into your head, let us know. I love.
Yeah, or just
honestly, I think the other most interesting thing that I have to talk about is my time working on reality TV.
Oh, I was going to ask about that. Yes.
So
you want to hang
started.
Out or you want to do it? Okay.
If you got time, we got time. Yeah,
we can do another episode. I don't care.
No, let's go. I'm in. I want to hear it. Unless do you have time?
Yeah. I'm good. I had just graduated from Full Sail, and for about 6 months I was working this one little sports gig. I held an international softball tournament. I was doing the video for that.
Real quick, I have to laugh because you said Full Sail again. I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, I just had to.
You thought it was real. See what I did?
I thought it was a term that went. I truly thought when you said, that you graduated honors and everything else. I thought Full Sail was something that, like an adjective that went with.
Oh, like a type of degree or whatever. Yeah, like magna cum laude, Full
like
Sail.
Right, Full Sail. Full Sail means
magna cum laude.
Yeah, right. So that's the kind of idiocy you're dealing with.
The Full Sail.
So when you said it again, I was like, shit.
It was
just dumb.
It was in the custodial department. He got a custodial Full Sail. See, this is why 13 people listen to our
I'm
show.
into music and grabbing. Full Sail. I'm also into boating. I ran the yacht club.
All right.
Okay.
Let him
back
tell
to the
his
story.
story.
Sorry.
You're good. So I got this like emergency job lead from my school that I was getting these emails of like, people that are looking for hire. I was sick as a dog. I had like 102-degree temperature, but I had to go to the interview that day. So I take some Dayquil and just get myself up there, lie my way through the interview. Oh, do you know how to multi-clip? Do you know? Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Go home, Google everything. And then I showed up next day, did really, really well. And like, that was literally supposed to be a 3-day gig, just editing what they call test tapes for a new show that they were pitching. And it turned into a 4-year gig. I was a assistant editor, then associate producer. The first big show I worked on was my big fat redneck wedding.
Right. Oh yeah.
And or my big redneck wedding, whatever it was. But those were fun. I actually enjoyed editing those because it wasn't produced. You know what I mean? Like, these people really were getting married. We were paying for this outlandish wedding that they were having with taxidermy lined aisles and whatever. Like, that was fun. I actually enjoyed that. We weren't forcing anyone to do anything. And then, over time, we got other types of shows that needed drama and things like that.
Right.
And I would be editing, the raw footage, and I would hear like the producer lying to these people about something that the other cast member said, just so they could get them in an interview pissed off and talking about this or whatever. I mean, also watching, I don't know if I should say this, but Tom Arnold was the host of Redneck Wedding. And, he would always like pop up and do his little thing. I would edit the green screen of him doing it or whatever. And that man, bro, he would be doing it. He would walk off shot, right? Like, he would leave camera, and all I would hear is, all right, let's go.
He had a sinus infection.
I've heard him.
That's right.
About
Yeah,
that,
he was blowing his nose, clearing up. Yeah, little inhaler.
The whole time he's like, "Are those animals alive? They look alive. Are they alive?
What was that?
I think they're alive."
Oh my God, dude.
I like it.
That's what my question about reality shit was going to be, is how much, I guess it depends on the production team, right? How much you get involved. I mean, if you're sitting in there and it's a dull story, you're like, man, this is the worst. How much do they need to get in, like for Survivor and shit like that? I mean, how much, everybody wonders that, but I mean, you've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, like I'll tell you, one of the things that really made me realize that like I got to get out of this was working on this show called Most Eligible Dallas for Bravo, and there is a character named Courtney, and they're trying to pit her against another character named Skylar. But Courtney and Skylar, they get along. Like they were kind of dating the same guy, but they were like not really, like not the way we were portraying it. So they didn't really hate each other. And I hear like this producer talking to Courtney for like 30 minutes, trying to convince her to say like, Skylar's a bitch, just go talk shit about Skylar. And Courtney's like, no, I don't want to be represented that way. Like, this is my life. Like, my friends and family are going to be watching this show. I don't want to come off as this bitch. So my producer comes into my edit bay and says, I need you to frankencut. And what frankencut is when you take a piece from an interview on May 7th and a piece from an interview on February 3rd and a piece from another time, and you put it together to make it sound like they're saying something they're not. And they basically said, I need you to frankencut Courtney saying that Skylar is a bitch and she did this, this, and this. So I had to go through like 6 months of interviews and find one word, find a way to cut it together, make it sound smooth. And then no, because that's the thing is like, they're just going to run a piece of the scene over that interview. You're not going to see her speaking in the interview.
Okay.
So no one will ever know. And it really like, it was just that level of manipulation where I got to the point of like, this is really not what I want to be doing with my film degree. You know what I mean? It just,
right.
It was, and like, I got an opportunity to do wedding videos back home in Maryland. This was when I was still in Orlando, so I took that to leave there. But reality TV is everything that you think it is not. You know what I mean? And worse. Like just imagine what you think it is, and multiply that by about 5, and that's what it's actually like.
I mean, with your experience in that, do you think like those producers? I would guess not all of them start like manipulating assholes, right? But over the course of time, do you get hardened to that where you're like, man, we got to make this work, so we got to figure something out, right? By
the time you get to the level of story producer, which is like that level of people that are talking to the cast members, it's kind of like being president, right? Like you can't get to be president without being corrupt at some point. Like you've gotten, you've been a senator for this many years, you've worked this many years in this job. Like if you, and especially those guys, those story producers, they're making $800-900 a day, $1,000 a day. So like to get to that level, they've already established that like, I'm gonna give you what you want. I don't care what I got to do to get it.
Gotcha.
And you stood by your guns. I'm a full sale man. That's not the way we get down.
We go full sale. We don't stop at our integrity.
We don't do.
Kyle's a full sale guy.
A little more full sale, right?
What do you need me to do? Yep, I'm in.
You got $5?
I only need 2, but you've got 5. I'll do it. I'll tell you a funny stuff. So a friend of mine and I used to do a charity golf outing around Halloween. And we used to have people dress up in costumes. So you're talking, we give a prize. So you had some pretty risque stuff. You had some good. I mean, one year we had. You remember you may not know the race car driver Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
Hits a guy and kills that kid up in New York, right? In a sprint car race. Well, one of my buddies' brothers shows up in a NASCAR outfit with a dummy strapped to his golf cart. And every time he drives, the body's flipping out. I'm like, that's pretty funny, inappropriate, pretty funny. So we do this we were doing this at that point at a golf club by my house. Well, they also do weddings, right? So we do this on a Saturday, and we did not know this. This was not planned by us. This was not planned by the golf course. This was not planned by the show. They were filming Bridezillas that day. I mean, so imagine this. You show up, you're the bride. She's already a pain in the ass. And she shows up and there's 85 people in costumes.
Someone did that on purpose. I promise you, someone did that on purpose. Like there's a producer show that found out that event was that day, and they were like, "I know what we're doing."
I mean, it was. I mean,
everybody show up.
It was. We didn't. I mean, we got there and people start showing up, and the guy that's at the golf course is like, "Oh, by the way, because we could see it was set up for a wedding," and we're like, "When's the wedding?" They're like, "Oh, it's at 4. You guys will be done." Well, they all start showing up, and we're still having our post party where everybody's, you have free alcohol all day. It is a shit show. I mean, the award ceremony is an absolute. We got people that will go up there, take a shot of Jaeger, and then knock over the mic stands. I mean, it was a shit show. So he's like, they're filming Bridezillas, and I'm like, today? I said, are they going to be pissed? He goes, well, the producers aren't going to be pissed. They're going to love this show.
Yeah.
So if there is an episode I'm not in it, but there's an episode in Bridezillas where this girl's walking around bitching and moaning about something, and it's our golf outing, and everybody, of course, is trying to stick their. I would like to see the uncut footage, the unedited shit of, because I know all the guys that are in this, and I imagine that if I got that footage, it's funnier than probably even what they portrayed on it.
Yeah, what you could do with that footage.
Oh my God! But
like,
I mean,
that producer sent that guy in the NASCAR uniform with a golf cart. Like he paid for that.
Well, we had. I mean, that every year that guy showed up at something that was right on the line of inappropriate. It's like, God, and it's it being a charitable event. It's like, so we're giving a check to the charity, and here's this guy driving around like, do we want to be associated with these idiots, man? But I thought it was pertinent because you start talking about that, and I said, oh my God, I totally forgot that we were on an episode.
That's funny. No, that's a good story.
And we were asking people about it. We're like, man, is she really a bitch, or is it? And they're like, no, she's really. She wasn't even playing it up. Like, she was a bitch, and when she showed up, evidently all hell broke loose. Like, what is this? Like, she thought she was set up, which you may have been.
I think she was.
But we weren't in on it.
I really think she was.
We weren't in on it, so I was happy to. I wonder if they're still married. That's what I want to go see. That poor son of a bitch had married her. Right? He's on redneck weddings now. He's
I never thought about that. Like, the guys, the grooms on Bridezilla. What are you thinking? Right.
What? I mean, red flag galore on that shit. If your wife wants to go on that, you're like, wait a minute, you're going to turn on the biggest day of our life. You qualify for this? Never mind. You're going to turn into the biggest bitch on earth on the best day of our life. That means every day after is going to be awful. Yeah. I mean, why would I sign up for that shit? But,
that's wild.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
The only thing that I can kind of do that's inappropriate. So I might have mentioned my dad's been a quadriplegic for 40 some years, right? For a stint, we had a huge Halloween party, and I'm talking hundreds of people. It was huge, right? And
ramps.
Yeah, there were ramps, a couple.
But anyway, because it'd be mean if
Dad would show up dressed as Superman. The Christopher Reeve.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
You got the 10 people that don't know the joke, and they're like, "That's not funny."
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Well, the first year he did it, everyone, because it's all an older crowd, they just lost their minds.
Winner. You win the award.
For sure.
Stand up and get out of that chair. Right. So the last thing I'll say about all that is one of our best friends, he was in a chair and he's a quad too. And so my wife, when the first time she meets all the gang, right? The thing about, most people that are in a chair, Kyle and I've discussed it because his dad, we all know people, is, after a while, they just want to be treated the same, right? So the way that my dad and his buddies, got through it all was they just made jokes about it. So, Larry was always, and he was good with it. Everybody knew it. Well, my wife, we go to a Christmas party with all these people, and my wife, sees him in the chair, and he's at the table, and I come up to introduce him, and I said, "Hey, this is Krista," and somebody at the table goes, "Larry, are you going to get up?" And he's like, and she looked at me horrified, right? Horrified. She pulls me aside and goes, "Oh my God, they're so mean to him." I go, "Are you shitting me?" Yeah. Because every joke was like that. Like, he'd run over people's feet in his wheelchair. People be bitching at him. I mean, it took her time to be like, "God, you guys treat that poor man." I said, "That poor man is fine."
Right. This is what he wants.
I said, "Wait till everybody gets drunk," and he gets drunk, and he's riding people around drunk on his wheelchair. I mean, it happened every time. And she's like, well, and because of that friendship support, I mean, most people in a chair, their life expectancy is 5 to 7 years, right? This guy lived to be 75 years old. So, I mean, part of the inspiration keeps those people, keeps their spirits up and all that stuff. But yeah, that's good stuff, man. Yeah. That's good stuff. But
for sure.
I'm out. Yeah. I'm gassed. Do you have anything else? That's great, man. That's a great hour.
And look, if we want to do this again, just let me know.
No, you do the same, man. You got something you want to share? Give a shout. I mean, this was easy.
If you want to send us anything that we could put up on our Facebook page or even
Sure.
our personal pages to help promote or anything like that, man, definitely let us know.
Oh, and definitely do. Is there anything that you want? Like, how do people watch you?
Yeah, how do we?
Like,
yeah,
so listeners could.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
I mean,
this
you
guy
know,
is really funny.
Rapid
And
Rants.
he's hot. I need to watch.
Rapid Rants podcast on all platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then my personal is the character, which is the and then KARIKTER. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
that's awesome. You got a great story, man. And I'm not. I mean, we do the comedy and we laugh and joke and make fun of a bunch of different shit, but the things that you did for your daughter and all that stuff, that really is admirable, man. And I look up, kudos to you, man. A lot of people don't take that responsibility, and that's awesome.
I appreciate that.
You know what that is? It's a sign of a full sale, man.
It's
Full
true.
sale.
It's true.
You're right.
We're full sailors.
That's right.
Magna cum laude, full sale.
Hey, great talk though.
No,
Thanks,
absolutely,
man.
guys.
Appreciate
Thanks so
it.
much for having me.
You got it. Good luck.
All right, see you.
Bye.
I don't know how to turn